Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Rod Turner, and I have had Rod on the podcast before, and he helps businesses um, get funding and build. But that's not what we're talking about today. So thanks for coming to the podcast, Rod.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yes, so we're here because there's something happening in the world that is, I believe, on everyone's heart.
Mm.
And that's what's happening in Ukraine. And Rod has put together something very special to help in this situation. So, Rod, I'm just going to put it over to you. Why don't you describe what you're doing and
Yes,
why you
yes.
decided to do it?
So, um, I wanted to help the people of Ukraine in a bigger way than I can personally, on my own, I mean. And um, in March, I've been making art of my own digital art and enjoying it a lot. And then I found that people liked it. And then I thought, you know what? If I wonder if I could sell this art and send the money to Ukraine, and that could be a lot bigger than me in terms of the effect that it has. So that was the test, the idea, and then I had to find a marketing agency because it wouldn't really fly if it was just me talking about it because I don't have any presence in the right space in NFTs and so forth. So then I found a great marketing agency called Tag Collective, and they volunteered to after I asked them, they volunteered to work on this for free. So that meant to me that it was worth going to bat to do. So the thing which I found essentially is the art that I love to make, the digital art that I love to make, that people seem to like it. And so there is a prospect that we can scale this up and do some serious good. That's what this is all about. So all of the proceeds from these sales are going to Ukraine. I've selected four initial organizations that I found through checking and researching and recommendations to be I think, the best on the ground there. And I'm also looking for more suggestions for us to include. But essentially, that's it. Initially at least, who knows how if this could fall on its face or it could be very successful or hugely successful. At the moment, I'm paying the tax on the gifts because I hadn't thought about that aspect initially. But in the beginning, I'm just going to be paying the tax on this stuff myself, and that's no big deal because I want to help anyway. If it gets to be humongous, which I'd love, then I'll have to figure that out. But in the meantime, it's all good. So we're just getting started. We've had two sales so far, one of which was Kimberly herself buying, and a friend of mine just bought a work. So, it's early days. We've got lots to do, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping that we can really move the needle. That's what it's all about.
Mhm. Yeah, and this art is really beautiful. When you look at it, it you feel something. You feel emotion with the art, not only because of the intention behind it of helping someone, but it's just the colors, the way, just the movement,
Mm.
the way you put it together.
I feel that, and I'm really jazzed when others do. It's interesting that different people click with different. Well, it's not surprising, but different people click to different art, So that's it. That's been an interesting journey too. Would you like me to share
Yes,
some things?
please.
Okay, good. So I'll do that. Share screen. I'll start off with a website that I set up, which is here. So essentially, that's a video of me sort of in a brief way saying what we just discussed. We've got a place on the page for that explains NFTs and how to buy them for beginners to broaden the audience of people that can help. And then essentially, there's lots of places to click. Some people call this adopting art because we're using it as a donation vehicle, essentially. But if we click on any one of these images, that takes us to the marketplace. I'm currently using OpenSea for that. OpenSea is the biggest NFT marketplace. So I have a collection here, and let's just go look at the art. That's the most important thing. I'm assuming you aren't seeing on the screen my images of you and things.
Yes.
So, it's it's anyway. So this one is. I like this one. I like all of them. I'm biased. I like all of them. But this is about $100. They're either on auction starting at $100 or they're for sale at a fixed price of $100 for everything to get started with because I want to make it easy for people. And the idea of the auctions is that if people want to have fun and bid higher prices to do more good, they can. That's why we have the auction item. So this says minimum bid on it, for example. That's the reason. So then, you can literally bid for it and, or buy for cash. And it's a bit of a learning experience for some people like my friend in England who just bought one this morning. I'll go down to a fixed price one. There's I love all of these, and I've got others that I'm making. Obviously, that's the whale tail one that you and
That
I
one
were
I
talking.
really liked too. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was hard to decide. I liked the heart one. I liked that one. There was a few other I just like. I had to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one to pick?
yes, yes. So
So
it's we got a bit of an echo there, didn't we? Anyway, here we go. So that's the nature of it. At the moment, I have 31 artworks up, and so this is an interesting one. I liked it at the beginning, although I felt, I haven't loved it as much as some of the other ones I love, but some people really go for this one. And a friend of mine who's been helping me get this set up, he was just sitting there gazing at it for ages while we were chatting, which is so cool. I mean, I love that.
yeah. What I like about that one is that it changes when you look at it. Sometimes it almost looked like a boat to me. Then it looked like
Mhm.
something else. And every time you look back at it, it looks like something different. So you can use your imagination.
Yep, you get a different perspective every time, don't you?
Mhm.
Well, not in every case, of course, but yeah, this is what we have. This one's turned out to be very popular, and someone thought it was a photograph, but it isn't. It's obviously not a photograph. But
Yep. And that's the one that I bought.
yes, yes. So this one's still lit. It still shows on OpenSea because you can sell it. Somebody can buy it from you, and then they would click on it to make an offer. You see. So if you chose to, then you could sell it. But yeah, I love that one myself. I love all of them. I'm biased. So when people click on it, the challenge is that you can't just buy it with your credit card. At least at the moment, I might be able to change that, but for the time being, and certainly the short medium term, it's by crypto only. So you need to set up a wallet to do that, and I have instructions on the website about how to do that. And the other thing I have is I have the buying guide for excuse me, it's buying for beginners. It's how do you go about doing it, as you can see here. And then the other thing I have, where did I put that? Is yes, about is if people know great organizations that are on the ground, I'd like to hear from them as to what they are, where they are. These are the ones that I'm sending the money to now. These four. Just click through and check them out, and I'm really impressed with them. And I've had strong recommendations of them, but I'm happy to add to the list. If people are aware of great organizations that are doing the right job. Some of them are charities, many of them aren't, because it's really all about being there and doing the right thing right now. It's not about some humongous charity that takes giant fat fees for their top executives and all that stuff and ends up being inefficient. It's about what's working. I'm going back to the art. So be my guide here. What should I do next?
Well, if someone wanted to like, well, obviously we're going to share this video.
Mhm.
If someone wanted to share it, you were talking about a QR code or something you were developing or had. If
Yes. So what I've done is I've got the easiest. I've got a couple of URLs. I was very fortunate to get obw.life. That's easy to remember, right? So that's it. If you go to obw.life, it takes you to the website, and then you can go buy the art or take a look at the art, whatever you'd like to do. obw.life, and I've created, with the help of the agency, because they've improved the font, I've created a heart image, which I can't quickly show it to you. I have to find it. It would take a little while. but I created a heart image with a QR code on it and with text built into it, just with the web URL and briefly describing what we're doing. So that's self-contained and people can share it. And I'll share that to you afterwards. Yeah, I'll send that to you so you can share it with your audience if you'd like to. It's where it gets difficult with digital art is in producing specific things. It's that's a bit of a challenge to make a heart. Do you know what I mean? To make a heart that looks good and things like that. But that's not relevant. That's beside the point. This one here in the middle was me trying to make hearts a heart image that would work well with the Ukraine colors as a background. And I'm using one of the ones that I like better. This is nice, but it's got too much red and pink in it, not enough yellow and blue. Hmm. And I like this one. I think I like this one because of the tears. You can imagine that those are the heart is crying because of what's going on in Ukraine. Makes me feel emotional just saying that. Anyway, so I've got a number of other heart images, but I don't want to overwhelm. I don't want to put too many heart images up at one time. My intention is to, as we move forward, we'll figure out how many artworks available at any one time is the best thing. And then I'll adjust accordingly, make more art as needed. I'm so fortunate that I'm able to do this. It's it's a lovely hobby. It's become a great low stress hobby. Most of my hobbies have been high stress competitive things like racing cars and racing sailboats and racing windsurfers and all sorts of stuff like that. But it's nice to have a creative, relaxing hobby. I call this one incredible because that guy, you can imagine that this is the face of Mr. Incredible. Wasn't intentional, but that's what came out. That was the result. Anyway, it's I made one like this. This was inspired by a company that my company's working with. They make really lovely, completely recyclable and green bed linen and things. Much like Bed Bath and Beyond, but 100% green. They're an online company, and I took one of their very nice photographs and used that as an inspiration for this one. Although this is different, the one that I made it for the president of that company and sent it to her. This is a different version of it that I like too. So when it's showing you the number of Ethereum that it costs, these are all either $100, right around $100 each, or they're an auction that starts at $100 each. That's the current situation. You can't actually go much lower than that when you're using OpenSea with NFTs because they don't actually allow it. I had one that was $10, but it caused bugs and stuff. It was there. I got it entered, but it caused some things to go haywire because I don't think they somehow it sort of slipped through and it wouldn't have allowed it. So I had to take that one down.
Well, it definitely is a learning process. I have no experience in Ethereum or crypto or NFTs.
Hmm.
And I had to figure that out. I had to sit and figure that out. I had to open my wallet and
Yes,
buy Ethereum. And there's these gasoline fees. So
yes,
great.
yes,
But then there's these gasoline fees. Do you want to
yes.
just say briefly what that is so people who
Sure.
are new know what I'm talking about?
Sure, sure. So essentially, Ethereum is getting better, but when they're for cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Bitcoin, they use a proof of work system to validate transactions. So, and those end up being very power hungry and costly to operate. So when there's a lot of traffic in the current Bitcoin, I'm sorry, in Ethereum and in the current Bitcoin, then that costs a lot, essentially. The transactions are too expensive. Ethereum is making serious changes to address that. They're bringing the cost way down, which is great. And there isn't a solution currently for Bitcoin. But people aren't buying with Bitcoin. They're the easiest. You can buy with Ethereum or other currencies, although unfortunately because this is all using Ethereum in the back end, it still has gas fees that can be high. I've been when I put up each of these works, there's a gas fee, and it has varied, but $5 or $10, not too bad. But then my friend in England bought one just now, and he paid $40, so that's excessive on $100 purchase for sure. But this will all get better over time, which isn't much help for us right now. I'm doing some things in the background where I may be able to increase the efficiency by putting my same artwork on a different platform. But it'll be transparent to everybody because you go to my website and you click and it'll take you to a different place for the same art. If I do that, that isn't going to happen instantly. So yes, it would be much easier if, and that's the thing is, I want to enable people to buy it with a credit card or other easy method, which is really credit card would be the easy method. But for somebody who is in crypto already, it's much easier, and somebody who wants to learn about crypto, then it's worth it. But for somebody who doesn't want to learn about crypto at the moment, they're not really going to buy this art. It's not really feasible. But there are an awful lot of, I don't know what the percentage of the populace is, but there are a lot of people that are into crypto. And that's why the NFT category has taken off, because it's really become huge in the space of a year, 15 months. It's become a huge space.
It really has. Well, thank you so much for doing this. And,
Mm.
all of our hearts are going towards Ukraine. And if there's any little way we can help, then we want to help. So
Yes,
you're
thank
just
you.
giving us a way because you're donating to those 4 platforms that you showed us.
Hmm.
And you're using it with beautiful art, which is almost like a memorial, like a memorable
Hmm.
thing, because you can
Hmm.
remember that, oh, this is not only a piece of art, but this is the time when this was happening in our world, and I was able to help. I mean, that's a great
Yes.
feeling.
This is, for me, this has been very frustrating because I grew up in England, obviously, and I heard about World War II. And later I learned that there were big chunks of the world that weren't even involved. It's like, wow, it's so big and so devastating. How could there have been parts in the world? How could there have been parts of the world that weren't under the gun, that weren't experiencing it directly? So that was shocking, and I just felt weird about that, how it must have been to be living a peaceful life in Brazil when all hell's broken loose everywhere else in the world, for example.
Mhm.
And then I got that experience with the Ukraine war because, I mean, I think the difference between it and the other wars that there's always wars going on, is that we can identify more closely with it because it's in Europe and it's close to lots of countries we know and love, and Russia we don't know what we think about, but basically it's more personal, and the coverage therefore is a lot more coverage of it that we're seeing. And here I am thinking, well, hey, I'm having a lovely life and everything's pretty cool, and the little things I have that challenge me are minute compared to what people are living through there. What am I doing about this? What am I doing?
And you are.
So,
You're doing something, and you're helping other people do something.
well, now I am, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have that desire to do more than spectate, to do more than feel sympathy. We want to act, right? So it's great that there are lots of organizations that are helping, and that's really the genesis of this.
Mhm. Beautiful. So just before we complete, I'd like to take a moment just to pray for Ukraine and
Mm-hmm.
for anyone or any group of people in the world right now who are being depressed or
Mm-hmm.
um, abused in some way. So if we could just take a moment, and if you're not a
Yes,
person of faith, if you could just be silent, but
that, yeah.
um, dear God, we just want to ask for your hand of protection and care over the people of Ukraine and anyone in the world who is in a similar situation. And I thank you for providing for them all their needs, everything they need, not only physically, but emotionally, whatever it is. And we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, good.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say or?
No, I think I have a request, which is that please, to the audience, please share my website, obw.life. and get the word out about this program, because let's do the most good we can do. You know, we're making it easy for people, as easy as I can currently make it. You don't have to select the destinations. You can add and suggest, but you don't need to. I've already done that legwork. You can donate directly on those links too. That's another way to help. But just, the website's a good place to start the process and check out the art and things. But by sharing it, you'll reach the people that are interested in buying the art too, and whatever it is, any of the above. But social media is a marvelous vehicle for spreading the word. So please, if you resonate to this, please do share it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rod.
Thanks. All right.